And oh, the game is actually started. LifeCoach, of course, using the Warlock and the one that actually missed. Do you guys see it?
Yeah, I mean, this looks to me like it's gonna be a handlock
Okay.
straight away too. I mean, this is just again, he's not really much for a pure aggro player. It's just not his style. He wants to have a lot of decisions to make. He wants his turns to be tough because he feels confident navigating through them.
So like right now, what is Hosty thinking? Is he thinking, do I want to coup this because it's a zoo possibility? But I mean, it's a life coach.
Well, honestly, this is something that's really unique to Coup as well. Is that you get to see your first cycle of the Mulligan cards.
That's
You
true.
don't get to see the second ones though. So when he sees Keeper of the Grove in his opening hand, I think he feels really comfortable, even if his opponent is playing Zoo in a
Ah,
position like this. Keeper of the Grove is like one of those cards that is so good against both the Warlock matchups that he's very happy to see it in his opening hand.
mhm.
So to go along with that, he's kind of I feel like he's hedging his bets a little bit when he keeps the Senjin Shieldmaster too. But at the same time, he wants to have a play on turn 4 if he's not able to utilize his Keeper of the Grove.
All right. So yeah, we are actually going to see this matchup play out, which is basically, I think it's pretty even. A Druid versus a Handlock. It really depends on, if the Druid can put on early pressure and if the Handlock just keeps on playing behind, making inefficient trades because they're scared of the combo, for example. But so far, doesn't look like Hosty has those cards.
Yeah, I mean, this looks like it's going to be like a ramp variant too. He's got Tezdingo and he's got Sludge Belcher in his opening hand already.
Mm-hmm.
So I would expect to see Ancient of War, and I would expect to see something like Kel'Thuzad at some point, very akin to the ones that we saw from Forsen.
Yeah, there was the Undertaker Druid deck that was floating around with Belchers back then, but of course Undertakers did get nerfed now, and players do know that the Undertaker patch would come anytime during the tournament. So we did warn them if they play an Undertaker, then you best be prepared because if it gets nerfed during it, we're not responsible. Okay.
Now, see, would you have been the kind of guy who's like, you know what, I'm going to try to win my first match with Undertaker?
And then just go like, okay, I'm in the finals, I'm in the money. It's okay. Never mind, Undertaker now. I don't think so. I think every tournament you should just go for the win, right? I mean, why else would you play a tournament just for, just for the in the money thing, right? It's kind of like
Yeah.
poker too, right? When you go in the money, you just go a little bit more aggressive and shoot for number one.
Yeah. Everyone wants to win. Nobody wants second place. Second place feels awful.
Yeah, I mean, I think even third place feels better because you end with a win. If
Yeah,
there's
I mean,
ever like tournaments with third place matches, I just feel better.
yeah, it's so much better than just you're like second place. You're like, oh, I was so close.
All right, life coach of course thinking of whether to tap or not. It does decide to go with the tap. Ancient of War is going to be drawn, just like you predicted, Admirable. And here, I mean, a couple of plays you can. It's not insanely good, I guess, because if you coin something, then you're forced into doing the Keeper of the Grove next time. Like it's just awkward with how this is made up right now.
Yeah, but, sort of in line with this play though is that he's not going to be focusing too much on like how to curve perfectly throughout the game because his game plan is going to be to kill his opponent's minions and take advantage of the fact that he's got a plenty of efficient minions himself.
Right.
One of the ways he does that, of course, is Keeper of the Grove on something like Twilight Drake. So when he chooses to innervate out this Sludge Belcher here, what actually ends up happening is now he can't Keeper the Grove and innervate and hero power this. So I actually would have liked to see the Tezdingo here instead.
All right, so instead, Hosty is going to find another way to deal with this Twilight Drake. I'm pretty sure Silence is going to come down, and I'm pretty sure we're going to see an attack come. Ooh.
Yeah, I think at this point it's pretty reasonable to kind of ignore the fact that this Twilight Drake was played in this vein and just go with Tezdingo and,
Oh, really?
and
Okay.
try to come up with some sort of pressure. The other thing that he might have been thinking about, and this is something that I've done very often, is Sylvanas is going to get played in a lot of these hand lock
That's
decks.
true.
That's one of the nightmare cards for this matchup. So dealing with the first Twilight Drake without using a Keeper of the Grove is something that you're going to do a lot. He's going to go with it anyway.
Yep. But
I can't blame him for it. I mean,
makes sense too because like you see a lot of rogues, even if when they have holding big game hunter, they tend to use deadly poison eviscerates or whatnot to clear the first giant and have that BGH ready for the second one, right? So I agree with kind of your logic there.
Tempo considerations are another thing to go with it.
Mm-hmm.
And Mountain Giant, I mean, that's got to be one of the best pickups in this deck at this point.
Oh man. But I mean, you just saw Keeper of the Grove. Don't you just want to play the other Twilight Drake instead?
I think there definitely is a lot of merit behind that.
And like,
Gosh, I mean, it's really. I mean, something else is going to be thinking about too is how much does he get punished when he gets big game hunted in a position like this?
mm-hmm.
So he has to. He's got to weigh his options here, and he's not thinking about this turn alone and what happens next turn. He's thinking about how does this affect my turn 5, how does this affect my turn 6, and so on and so forth.
So what would you do here? I mean, if you can kind of trick yourself to not seeing Hosty's hand.
I mean, I probably am just going with the Mountain Giant here because I feel like if you get big game in here, it's not the worst thing in the world.
Okay.
But at the same time, if you play Twilight Drake next turn, you can tap and play Mountain Giant for 3. But then what do you do with the extra mana? You only have 1 extra mana after that.
Yeah.
So I think what he's thinking about exactly is when you mentioned he just saw a Keeper of the Grove.
Right.
He's not going to be as worried about the second Keeper of the Grove here.
Well, Hosty, this is also another juicy Keeper of the Grove play. Deal 8 damage as a battle cry. You could also choose to coin a hero power, but I believe it's not going to be that. He's just going to trade the Ooze because he does have the 7 drops, which you really, really want to coin out and have 2 turn 7s instead.
Yeah, but I think Hosty's still thinking about the same thing he was earlier, which is if he Keepers of the Grove, he doesn't have one for potentially something like Sylvanas.
Right. Does it come back in the end that Firebat was really smart and played Panda, UFO Brewmaster in Druid decks?
He won a game strictly because of it. I mean,
Yeah, bounced back the EGH in the BlizzCon, right? It was pretty insane. Oh no, that was in the DreamHack, yeah, when they played against oh man, I Green Sheep, yeah. I remember his face, but sometimes I don't remember the person's name.
I'm good with faces too. Names are tricky sometimes.
Yeah. But Green Sheep was the guy who played, and
I remember everything about you except your name.
That's so romantic. Anyways, LifeCoach here, 6 mana. That hand looks pretty. You can't even just play, for example, the Sun Fury and the Mountain Giant without taunting it out, because that's not how Mountain Giant works. So like, I guess.
That's something really important to talk about. Is that does he even want to taunt up his minions in this matchup?
Yeah, I guess you don't, right?
Well, Black Knight is something that you have to consider on your mind. You're thinking about Big Game Hunter. You're thinking about Keeper of the Grove. You have to think about Black Knight, especially now with so many people playing Ancient of War.
Right.
It's just a large portion of these decks. But I think at this point, he just doesn't really have much of an option. I think he's just got to go with Mountain Giant and then
pass.
Yeah, so he life taps afterwards, and it doesn't really matter when he life taps this turn because he's not going to be able to utilize his 1 mana.
Exactly.
Oh, it actually does matter because he's only got 9 cards in hand. Oh my gosh.
Savage Roar on a Ramturret. Oh man. You know what? If I am Hosty right now, I'll definitely think about just coining the Ancient of War just to trick my opponent into thinking that I'm a Ramturret and not play around the combo, you know?
Yeah. I mean, he's got to think about something like Silences or Siphon Souls in the other end too. So
that's true.
A lot of options open to him. And if he has something like Savage Roar in his deck, there is merit to just playing Ancient of Lore and just trying to take your Force of Nature at this point. The other thing too is, I would imagine he's got a copy of Big Game Hunter somewhere in here, and just drawing something like Swipe and drawing cards like Wrath. He just wants to have options available to him, and then continue to pressure a little bit because this is a board where I feel like Siphon Soul is not going to get played too terribly often.
Well,
and against everything else, you pretty much have good responses to everything else that's going to be happening.
Anti-Killbot will help LifeCoach stabilize if he, cleans up the board a little bit and plays some taunts, for example. Those are a bit more a priority minions. But, I mean, this hand looks pretty bad. There's no big threats like Dr. Broom or Sylvanas. It's just not the best hand. I guess you just play Sludge Belcher and that's pretty much about it.
Well, I mean, Siphon Soul is the worst thing here, but once he sees Sludge Belcher, he's got to believe there's something like Ancient of War in this deck.
That's true. And Hosty might be able to trick LifeCoach into believing this is a pure ramp deck. I mean, Hosty's sitting a lot of damage right now, right? With the Swipe and the Savage Roar and the Drill to Claw. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's gonna go with Anti-Killbot. So I imagine this Mountain Giant's crashing into the 5/5 here.
Crash. Taunts both creatures up.
He's a lot less reluctant to taunt at this. Whoa!
Is that a LifeCoach move?
Wow, that is something that I have very, very rarely seen from LifeCoach. So not pick up some value here.
Putting on the pressure and see. I'm pretty sure that LifeCoach will get rewarded by that play.
There's no Big Game Hunter. There's no Black Knight.
None of those.
There's only a small amplifying effect right now.
Very.
This Savage Roar might just have to be used to clean up this board.
Oh god. Yeah, I mean, how can you kill this mountain giant effectively? I guess you don't.
Well, he can use Savage Roar, and then he can Wrath the Mountain Giant,
Mm-hmm.
and he can use Hero Power to clear out the anti-kill bot, and then run one of his Keepers of the Grove into the Sun Fury Protector. So
Well,
he can clean up this board really nicely, but then, he's losing his 5/5 in the process. He's not developing his board anymore,
Right.
and he's losing his Savage Roar.
Maybe I'd like the swipe and Wrath play more than and just kill one of your 2/4s. I do believe the 5/5 is pretty good on the board. I don't really want to see it, just die like that.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a lot of options available to him about how he wants to clear. The problem is that none of them are too terribly efficient.
Yeah. Well, Wrathing the. Would you Wrath for a card draw? It's just.
Yeah, I think you Wrath. I think it's what he's looking at. This swipe play is what it looks like. He wants to keep that 5/5 around.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of pressure that LifeCoach put at. Add 8 damage to your opponent. Like, that was pretty good.
Wow, he's actually going to use. He's going to save Wrath. Wow,
Whoa.
that's a bit surprising to me.
That's surprising to me, too.
I mean, he's already got so many options available to him. Like, how much value is the Wrath really going to be picking up? I mean, I guess he can couple it with something else to deal with the Giant later. Like, say when he gets the Ancient of War down, the Wrath is going to clear up a second Giant if it comes to that point.
But still, I just hate losing the 5/5 like that. Just crashing like that.
Yep.
Really,
wow, there's 2 big game hunters in LifeCoach's deck still too.
And this is one of the problems with a double big game hunter deck is that you just draw them, and you don't have anything to play.
Yeah, and against this Druid deck, unless he chooses to uproot this Ancient of War for some reason.
Oh god. Well, like this Druid deck, if it was like the KT and Sneeds deck, there would be no BGH targets. Oh, I guess you can kill the Sneeds and then BGH the legendary that comes out. But what if it's another Sneeds? Then what do you do?
What if it's a Ysera that comes out?
Oh. God.
What if it's a Lore Walker Cho?
Malik, yeah, you can't BGH or Laura Control. That's not possible.
You could little game hunter it though.
What's a little game hunter? Kodo.
It goes after little game instead of big game.
The Kodo
Destroys a minion with 0 power.
Oh god. All right, so Hosty here. He has 8 mana to work with.
Yeah, this is sort of a tough turn. He doesn't. Again, he's in a position where he doesn't have an efficient way to respond to what's going on. So he's just going to be forced to create board tension. So the one thing he wants to avoid is having Siphon Soul just be a really big turnaround.
So you're gonna.
I think he's
the Ancient of War, I guess, with that kind of thinking in mind.
Yeah, I think the Shade is like totally fine play here though. But at the same effect, he has to take into account something like Hellfire. Does he want to use this 2/2 Keeper of the Grove when he plays the Shade, so that way he doesn't just lose his 2/2?
Well, look, I'm actually very comfortable right now if I'm Hosty because your opponent didn't do insane plays for the last 3 turns, right? There were not really a lot of big threats, so I feel like soaring the board with little dudes like this, it's perfectly fine. I'll go to the Senjin instead.
Yeah, and this is a play that like LifeCoach doesn't really have a ton of responses to. He's not going to Siphon Soul this.
No. Oh no, that's another card that you can't really play right now.
That's not even close to activate. He actually can't even life tap with his hand right now too. He's got 10 cards in hand, so he's got to find a way to start expending what he's got.
Yeah, he has to be forced to play all these guys. I guess playing a BGH here is not really the worst thing that can happen, right? I mean, if you're playing 2, just kind of treating one as like a Harvest Golem was perfectly fine.
Well, not only that, but just against a Ramp Druid deck, a lot of times you can anticipate, like you said, just not any 7 power minions being in the deck.
All right. Oh, and tapping again and hope for another. Oh my god, it's one of those other utility cards.
Yeah, he's gonna have to play Defender of Argus here, I think.
Don't want to lose a card.
Just try to get something out of this. So I'd be extremely surprised if the Ooze attacked this turn.
Of course, that would be quite surprising. A BGH for Hosty is just a little bit better than LifeCoach's BGH here.
Yeah, it's a tad better versus the Giants deck than versus the non-Giants decks.
Yeah. But no Wrath anymore, so this BGH is going to get some value, I would assume.
Do you like attacking the 2/2 here still instead, though?
Ooh. I'm not really sure. I guess the first question I have to ask myself is what minions am I playing this turn? And, I mean, I guess I'm going to go with the I actually have no idea. It's really hard.
It's tough.
The
Yeah, I mean,
situation is like, especially when both players are holding so many cards and both have high health totals. Like, how can you anticipate anything? Like,
well,
your opponent has everything, and I have
if
everything too.
if my opponent hadn't been doing very much stuff like this, I would expect something like Hellfire in his hand. I would expect him to have some more top minions in his hand. I would expect him to have Siphon Soul in his hand, and it's because he hasn't really done any powerful plays, and you haven't given him a reason to use any of these other cards.
Okay, so I guess I would try and force my opponent to use these AoEs as inefficiently as possible. So I would play, yeah, I'll actually do exactly that play. You know, force them to use a Hellfire on a board that's not really good to Hellfire.
Yeah.
Oh,
Picks up both. That's actually such an important draw right now, just because he needs something to get going on this board.
That's right. Well, here you can just remove the board of Hellfire and just play a Lotheb, set up for a pretty good Molten Giant next turn as well. That seems pretty sweet, especially if you know you're playing against a Ram Druid, right?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I think he's just happy to breathe the sigh of relief that he didn't run into Black Knight on the turn that he threw a Mountain Giant into his opponent's face.
Yeah, or BGH at that matter, to be honest.
Yeah.
So, but who knows? That was like a lot of turns ago. Yeah, the Hellfire, double Hellfire is actually pretty interesting because you could enable some big turns, right? Double Hellfire into double Molten into Taunt, something your opponent would not expect.
I actually wonder if he's thinking about defending virusing the Lotheb here and just running his 3/4 Argus into a 3/3.
Yeah, you could, but I do like the Hellfire play a little bit more.
Yeah, I like setting up the Moltens.
Yeah. Oh, place the Molten before the
Yeah.
Okay. That's gonna get a little bit punished though, and oh, a Lotheb for Hosty as well. Now this is a pretty good turn. I mean, I guess you start by cycling, and if you do see the combo, well, just play the Lotheb, and your board is gonna be there. You can just combo your way through.
Yeah, cycling here I think is better than the Ancient of War, simply because you're just not gonna have very many turns in the future to expend this 2 mana right now.
There it is.
Wow, and he picks up the full combo, and Lotheb is going to put so much pressure on this board.
Oh
my gosh. I mean, that's the miracle draw.
That is the best draw. I mean, this deck, I'm pretty sure only wants one set of combo. It'd be super surprising to see 2. So, yeah.
Yeah, we already have room for 2. He's got Sludge Belcher and Ancient of War and a BGH and a Lotheb.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a super simple play. BGH and Lotheb, and you win next turn. I mean, it's really hard to deal with a board like that, especially if you're handlocked. You do need to couple spells and taunts. You need both. If you if one thing is kind of stopped, it's really hard to.
How much different would this game have been if LifeCoach had chosen to play Lotheb instead of the Molten Giant?
So different because you can't cycle the Wild Growth, right? You have to go with something like Ancient of War, I guess, to challenge the Lotheb. Siphon Soul would have come down, and wow, it's been so different.
Dr. Boom's actually a pretty important draw here because he can taunt up the Boom and one of the Boom bots.
Right, but does that actually help?
One of the Boom bots can kill one of your 4/2s.
That's true.
So it might take away that potential for, if he's got Force Nature Savage, which I don't even think he's thinking about right now, honestly.
No, I don't think it's in his mind. How can it be in your mind when your opponent played such big creatures,
Does he even have a better play than doing that, though? He's seen BGH. He is just pretty certain that Black Knight isn't there because he gave his opponent such a big Black Knight opportunity.
Well, Lotheb is the play, of course, to block the combo. Okay, there it is.
Wow, I think this game is about to fall, I think, in major favor of Hosty here.
Yeah. The Argus is going to come down on the Lotheb as well, which is good because it does cost 4 mana. It's just a more expensive Sun Fury. Do like that. Now, Hosty can't kill LifeCoach this turn. He has to go something else.
God, this next draw is so important. Oh my gosh. What a huge draw for Hosty right now. He's going to be able to kill his opponent's Lotheb, re-summon the minions he used for it, and end with a 6/8 on the board. Oh my gosh.
What? That is the best draw. Admirable, yeah. When you said what draw could have actually won that.
Wow. Minions, servants, soldiers of the cold dark. Oh my gosh. What a pickup. Just back-to-back massive draws for Hosty, and LifeCoach on such a back foot right now. I don't see how he's climbing out of this game, honestly.
Well, you can tap for a Molten Giant and Shadow Flame, but the combo kills you.
Oh my gosh.
Oh no. Wow. That is a turnaround.
That's a golden Kel'Thuzad too, by the way.
What is it?
You get a Kel'Thuzad for free when you go through the next Ramos thing, and he's like, you know what? 3,200 dust sounds good.
Well, I mean, you did pay gold / real money to get to next round, so there better be a sweet word in the end. But man, like, I guess LifeCoach is pretty dead here.
I don't see a way out of this.
No?
Kel'Thuzad being a 6'8" is just
6'8", yeah. That stat distribution is like perfect as well.
Yep.
Oh,
yeah, he's gonna Hellfire, but it's just, the bad news is coming up right. Hosty got to jump out to a 1-0 lead. Wow, what a couple of draws this was. I at some point in this matchup, I would have given an advantage to Hosty just how the early game panned out.
Right.
But just, I mean, the pickups are just a nail in the coffin. Like, how on earth do you beat that?
One after another, and Hosty is going to get the first game of this series.
I think it's a big sigh of relief too that he took down LifeCoach's Handlock again, because that's just a deck he's been practicing so much with.
Right.
That it's when you're like, all right, I got it out of the way. Good.
Yeah, definitely true. If we go back at the deck selection, we noticed that both players do still have the coups left. So maybe Hosty will use one, because I'm pretty sure LifeCoach will be playing, well, just to try and counter this Druid. Looking at this though, what mage could it be? Do you know what LifeCoach prefers as a mage?
I don't actually. In fact, I don't think I've actually ever seen him play mage before. I mean, this might be sort of the aggro variant that he chooses. Like, if he chooses to play an aggro deck, mech mage is very efficient in terms of its mana to power and health ratios, and its just effects in general. It seems very much up his alley, but at the same time, Freeze Mage is a deck I feel like he's going to do very well with, because of the kind of the foresight that he has when he takes his time and really thinks through all these turns. I'm curious to see how Hosty's going to respond to this, though, because I imagine naturally your opponent's going to queue up the best deck they have against Druid, and you might just be able to coup that right away. Like, almost no matter what they queue up with, they expect that to be the best matchup versus what you have right now. And Druid is just such a strong deck that you want to keep it around, so you can just coup whatever he throws into this.
Okay.
And then go forward from there.
But now, on the other hand, LifeCoach might be thinking, oh, I don't want to play facing against Druid anymore, because, my Handlock was kind of like the thing to beat this Druid deck with, and now with the Warlock out of the way, maybe I just don't want to play against Druid anymore. I don't get 3-0'd by the Druid. That would certainly be bad.
So he can just coup himself if he wanted to.
Coup himself? No. Coup opponents.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He queues up, and then do you see if your opponent coups first, though? Like, do you want to coup right away, or do you wait to see if they coup?
Yeah, that's true, because, I mean, judging by your logic, it would make sense that Hosty is the one that will coup more so than LifeCoach does. So if Hosty decides not to coup, he might have an insane opening hand with a lot of wild growths. So you might want to deny your opponent those cards.
Because you don't know if they kept their opening hand or not. You're like, oh my gosh, did this Druid just really keep 4 cards against me?
That is the nightmare.
That's as scary as like Hunter keeping 4 cards against you.
Oh god, that is just the absolute nightmare. But yeah, we'll see. LifeCoach is loading up the game on his iPad. That will take a little bit of a while. So yeah, we'll get into the game as soon as that's ready.
It wouldn't be scary anymore though, because Undertaker just got nerfed.
Still pretty scary. Still pretty scary. I'm not gonna throw that out the window just yet. For example,
it's just a 30 Leper Gnome Hunter deck.
Like for example, okay, if you have a Wrath against an Undertaker, at turn 2 you just use it, right? If you don't have a Wrath, then it's just gonna keep on growing, right? The only difference now is that if you top deck a Wrath, you can deal with a Undertaker, but then at the same time, that kind of applies at the same as like before, right? Because if you can deal with an Undertaker late game, then he already dealt enough damage and soaked enough resources that his job is complete already.
It's not just running over the game anymore, which is the important part.
Right.
Like, you don't just have all of your minions die to Undertaker and then die when it's at 6 power and you don't get a chance to BGH it.
Hey, is this a hand? Is this a hand, Admirable? Is this a hand where you don't care what your opponent is playing and you just go?
That's a spicy meatball.
Spicy.
Wow.
Like Trump. And Hosty's gonna okay. Mulligan's one innervate. Okay.
Yeah, I can there is some merits I think when you're going first to mulliganing an innervate just to make sure that you get some gas picked up in your opening hand.
Sure.
But LifeCoach, I mean, this is the aggro deck that LifeCoach is playing. He's playing Mech Mage, and again, it's very cost efficient minions, which is something that he's going to focus on playing is playing the cards that he feels like get the most mileage.
Sure. And there is a Sky Golem in the Mech Mage, so a little bit different than the typical list, I would say. But yeah, here's Shade, an opener at turn one of the best Druid openings that's ever really going to be invented. It's just basically a turn one Undertaker that grows itself, right? You can't go twice during a turn, but it grows itself. LifeCoach on the other hand has 2/1 drops he can drop right now. But he does want to play so that he gets some mileage out of the Blast Mage. That's really the goal right now. The short.
This turn one Shade is actually like pretty menacing too, because if he plays Cogmaster, he can just kill it straight away, and he doesn't actually have an answer to the Shade
right
off the bat. And if he plays Cogmaster and the Clockwork Gnome, Hosty can basically just do the exact same thing. He just hero powers the Clockwork Gnome and runs into the Cogmaster, and LifeCoach is still in the exact same position.
Oh man, the things that turn one Shade does to you. That LifeCoach decides to just go with the single Clockwork Gnome, and I think that's a really good play.
I think it's his best option available to him. It's going to soak up 2 mana from his opponent, and it doesn't allow him to just get extreme value out of his Shade right away.
Mm-hmm. Oh, definitely not this turn, because we're going to see a Wild Growth. Turn 2 Wild Growth is pretty insane, and the Shade is obviously not going to refill itself.
Now the Noyatrons are going to hit now, though. So I mean, this Cogmaster actually, potentially be protected for a couple turns.
That's true, but do you really want to do that? Because turn 4 you have a Blast Mage, so maybe you want to just play the Inertron. That's it.
Yeah, I think given what's happened, like I don't know. I feel like Cogmaster is good here. Like, how much more value are you going to be able to get out of Cogmaster?
By the way, I just want to say that my Blast Mages, every time I play Mech Mage, all 4 missiles go to the same target. I just want to throw that out there. Does that change your evaluation now?
Yes, Blast Mage, if all 4 go to the same target, it becomes the best card in the game.
Bomb Lobber, right?
Well, except for against like a bunch of 1/1s.
Oh, yeah. Then
they just all 4 go to face, and you're like, no.
Oh man. All right, so yeah, we're gonna put the theory to test. I think if LifeCoach doesn't draw better, I believe if he draws something like Mad Scientist could be good. I mean, I'm pretty sure that this deck plays Mirror Entity, so that's the number one secret. But yeah, he could play slower now. Just play a 1 and a 2 drop and save the Blast Mage. But
this is again like a really tough turn.
Actually, now that I look at it a bit more, you do want to coin out the Sky Golem, right? So yeah, I think a 1 and a 2 drop is pretty fine.
Which 1 and 2 drop? Do you go with the Mad Scientist to try to get the Death Rattle effect, or do you just go with the other Noyatron to try to keep your guys protected?
Sometimes you just want to play the Mad Scientist ASAP, right? You hate drawing secrets. Every time you draw that secret, you go, oh. You just like the missed opportunity, right? So I do like the Mad Scientist here instead.
Yeah, I definitely would tend to favor deck thinning.
Ooh, do you play around the MC Tech?
Oh, that's another really good question. That's actually something I wasn't considering. How much do you lose by playing around Mind Control Tech?
You lose a creature that's not really that big. If your opponent gets your Cogmaster, then they don't have any mechs.
Wow, he's actually going to coin out the other Noyatron.
Interesting. All right. Well, this is a pretty annoying board, to say the least, for Hosty. The BGH does not help the situation at all.
He's got Black Knight for a Noyatron next turn, though.
Oh god, the value. Wow, BGH just just kills the Clockwork Gnome. 3 mana kill a Clockwork Gnome. That's not really happy.
And that's if your opponent wants to kill it. They could use the Mad Scientist if they wanted to.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It's 3 mana, deal 4 damage to a target of your opponent's choice.
Oh,
how they see fit.
That's terrible. Well, that's basically a flame cannon, right? And not even a flame cannon. Your opponent gets to choose too.
It's like a combination of Deadly Shot. And,
would you say it's a lame cannon?
Lame cannon. Yes, I would say it's a lame cannon.
Oh man. Yeah, definitely one of the choices here, I guess. No, it just feels bad though.
What feels bad is that he can't utilize his shade at all right now. I mean, this was innovated on turn 1, and he's yet to get any distinct value from it. So it's certainly still building to a very scary minion, but right now it's just not doing anything. He has such a heavy investment in the board, and he doesn't want to take too much damage. Hosty chooses not to actually attack anything either.
Okay.
Well, which is a little bit strange to me.
Why don't you just take out the Divine Shield, right?
Or even just put 1 damage on. Wow, he gets like one of the worst blast mages he could possibly get from this.
Or is it one of the best? Because now you can still suicide a 2-attack creature into the BGH. Oh.
Gosh, I don't know.
That was planned.
He gets a 5/4 out of the deal, so that's good. But
I mean, I think this is not that bad, to be honest. Like, the worst would be hitting for 1 in the BGH, I believe. Oh no. So now the mirror entity is gonna actually, oh my god. So the mad scientist actually death rattles into a 4/5. Would you play a 2-mana 2/2 that death rattles into 4/5, Admirable?
Yes, every time. Yes, I would definitely play that card.
Sounds like a pretty sweet deal to me. Well, I think LifeCoach is definitely super ahead here. But the Ancient of War seems to be LifeCoach's last obstacle, if anything. Rewind.
Oh, jeez.
Oh no!
Oh my gosh.
God. Oh no!
Wow, that is insane right now. This blast mage for sure
is trading. There is yeah.
No, he's just going for face. Look at that. He's just applying the pressure.
Wow, this is the new LifeCoach. Uh-oh. This is not going to look good.
Oh my god. Oh, he doesn't have the mana to do it yet though.
Oh, he can't. He can't do it.
He can't do it this turn.
Well, you can just sacrifice the Chugga, yeah, and just play the 6-drop.
He's just got such a huge, he's got such a massive advantage right now. Just by the fact that he's going to be able to continue to overdevelop his board.
Right. I don't know. I think you just freeze the Ancient of War and then, there's the card I have.
Yeah, that's a pretty brutal one.
And it's so gross too. Like, Hosty is gonna play Sen'jin, for example, next turn, right? So the Black Knight can actually hit the Sen'jin and then get time reversed or time rewinded even.
Oh my gosh, that's so brutal.
It's so disgusting. Sure, you can kill the you can kill the Cogmaster here, I guess. I mean,
do you kill the Cogmaster or do you silence?
Wait, what? You silence the 6/4? You need board right now. You're dying for board control.
We'll make up the rest later. I don't think it matters too much. I mean, just look at what's happening.
Uh-oh.
How do you recover from this? Gosh, and he picks up a fireball too. Yeah, I think this one's just done like dinner.
This is gonna be so gross.
Oh my god.
What a spare part to get. Oh, so he's doing exactly that.
Well, it's the fact. Also, he got it from the mirror entity.
It's so gross. Oh no! Look at Hosty's face.
Are you kidding me?
Hosty's face.
Hosty can't believe it.
Oh my god, that face was so gold. It was the jaw drop.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man, that was hilarious. Oh man.
He just has to savage. Like, there's just no hope at this point.
No.
He's got a Savage Roar to kill a 6/4, and then he's just dead to Fireball afterwards. So game 2 is going to be going over to LifeCoach on some crazy shenanigans with Mad Scientist and time reminders. Oh my gosh.
Who said the spare parts were bad? People evaluated the spare parts as like not really a card, right? But man, yeah, that was the best.
Sometimes, the effects could definitely be tiebreakers in situations where otherwise you get in sticky situations, and that's sort of the cost associated with playing a deck like this is that you are gonna be available to Black Knight at some point, and even if it's your own Black Knight, just wow. What a crazy turnaround in like such a short duration of time.
That's true. Well, LifeCoach does take game 2 really, really quickly. And yeah, we'll see what Hosty has to do with an aggro deck that's Mech Mage.
Yeah, I'm curious if he's going to end up choosing to coup away this mech mage, or if he's got something like maybe his rogue deck is sort of targeted at something like this.
I mean, Rogue could definitely apply a lot of early game removal with backstabs, SIs, eviscerates, stuff like that. But hey, if the Rogue is more tuned into like a Miracle Rogue, where you kill your opponent with like Tinker's Oil or something like that, might have a little bit of trouble, against that kind of thing. And of course, you do have the Hunter available, and Hunters are pretty good against mages still. It'll be interesting if the Hunter actually runs Undertaker. I do want to actually see the nerfed Undertaker in action and laugh at it. I mean, see how it works and if it's viable anymore. But yeah, it'll be up to Hosty to see what he thinks is the best for this.
Yeah, but that's another thing interesting to note is like what kind of hunter variant is this? I mean, we saw Deathlords was playing Wolf Riders and Arcane Golems. Is Hosty chosen to go the same route, or is he playing something a bit more traditional? Is he playing something that's going to be more focused on scaling into the mid and late game?
Who knows? I mean, I've been watching from streams from some other players that are less known, I guess, and they've been actually experimenting with Steam Widow Sniper. That's a very interesting card since, I mean, you kind of play the board control game where, I mean, if you're a hunter, sometimes you just don't really want to shoot the face, right? You want to establish some board control so that your minions get to do the face damage. So that might be a card that we'll see a little bit of play. I know that Death Star was playing it.
Steam Widow Saber feels to me a lot like Keeper of the Grove in a hunter deck.
Oh, that's interesting. That's an interesting comparison.
Just playing it on turn 4 and then using your hero power on turn 4. Like it costs 2 mana, but it's more like a 4-drop than it is like a 2-drop.
Right.
But in a pinch, it can be a 2-drop.
Yeah, it can be a 2-drop. I mean, it's an insane 2-drop if your opponent can't really deal with it, right? My main concern with Steam Widow Sniper is that it is a 2-drop, right? That's what, like, if you compare it to Arcanine, and Arcanine is just so much better because it is a 4-drop, right? You can use the hero power and a 3-mana creature like a Dark Cultist instead. But with Hunter, like, the only way you can actually squeeze in the 1 mana is to drop like a Web Spinner or a Leopard Gnome or something like that. Yeah. So we'll go into the game as soon as it is ready. This is how we roll along. And yeah, LifeCoach is loading the game up. Hopefully we get to see the class matchup soon and decide whether or not we're going to actually, go with this. Hosty's going to confirm, and he's going to play with this.
Yeah. Wow, that was a really quick confirm too.
Very quick. Is that, yep, deadly poison, go.
Yeah, I wonder about LifeCoach's consideration of actually queuing this now. Because your opponent has so confidently queued up into this matchup, and they mulliganed very quickly as well. So it speaks like volumes in terms of how much confidence you have rolling into this one.
It's true. LifeCoach does have a pretty, I guess it's a pretty old...
Yeah, actually, that's not a surprise to me to see that. Again, I think it was just the amount of confidence that Hosty is showing, and also coupled with the fact that LifeCoach's hand... pretty much all of his opening hands versus a rogue deck are just not going to be. He's not going to be comfortable with them. A backstab is going to throw off his whole game plan.
That's true.
And that's something he saw his opponent keep a card. It's just not a position he wants to be in. Now, at that same time, Hosty may have wanted him to coup this deck at this point.
Wow, that's another layer of mind games.
He feels comfortable with his opening hand because he's got the deadly poison, but frankly, he would just rather not play against it. So I mean, I see benefits on both sides of this.
All right, so yeah, LifeCoach, there we go. There's the webcam back again. So for those who are just tuning in, LifeCoach, what happens? Like, what happened with LifeCoach? You just conceded there. No, LifeCoach actually used the coup power, which is basically a ban on your opponent's deck after seeing the matchup. So LifeCoach said, nope, I don't want to play Mech Mage against Rogue. So he's going to use this once per series power to actually ban Hosty's deck. Now, Hosty still has the coup available, so that means the match is still 1-1. It's still tied. And but then Hosty has to play something else against this mage.
Yeah, and now at this point, I'm wondering which direction he's going to go because I thought that Rogue might be targeted at this, but does he have a Hunter deck that's targeted at it now, or one that's just even a good matchup at this point? Because again, Undertaker's not it's not a 16-17 anymore. It's just it's always got 2 health now.
Oh man. Well, wait till you see it in Priest where you can buff its health.
You start Divine Spirit and Inner Firing your Undertaker.
Yeah, Valen's Chosen, that's a very strong card.
I'll make the old Undertaker.
Oh, yeah. It's like every time I summon a Death Rattle, a Power Chi has to go out as well. Yeah, but I guess a Hosty should go with the Hunter. I mean, do hmm. I'm actually not sure what form, what type of mage Hosty's play. I mean, he certainly played both Mech Mage and the Freeze Mage. I haven't seen him play Fatigue Mage, so I'm gonna rule that out. But then, yeah, I mean, Mech Mage versus Mech Mage, I don't think it's really comfortable, and I think Hunter is the one to pick here.
Yeah, the other thing to consider too is if he doesn't have a comfortable matchup versus Mage, he can use his own coup at this point.
Oh, that's true. That's quite true.
So he may queue up the deck that he feels is best versus one of the other two matchups, and then coup away the Mage.
But wouldn't you feel stupid? But when you lose a game to a deck and then you have to coup it afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the best feeling in the world for sure. But you got to do what you got to do to make your chances best. I'm not saying he's going to do it, but it's certainly something to consider. Gosh, I love the coup. It creates so many mind games.
Wait. Oh!
Wow, and that's exactly what Hosty's going to do.
Very good prediction there, Admirable.
And take a look at Hosty's opening hand real quick. He had a Timberwolf and a Scavenging Hyena.
And the other ones were typical ones.
Yeah, a Web Spinner and Animal Companion.
Yeah, so this is, maybe there's no Undertaker.
Well, it's like a nod sort of to the old Hunter decks that were trying to scale into the mid game and really put a lot of weight on Savannah Highmane's shoulders, and use cards like Scavenging Hyena in the meantime to draw removal spells from your opponents that Hymane would stick to the board more often.
Oh yeah, Savannah definitely can take a lot of weight. That guy has big shoulders, I have to say. But it's actually interesting. The Hosty does decide to do that. I was actually thinking of the what is that called? I don't know what the name is, so I'm just gonna invent a name. The Pro Player Syndrome, where if you make a misplay, you're gonna do another misplay to seem like that misplay was actually meant to. You got what I mean, right?
Oh, yeah, this is like something that's like really common in poker. Is when people would make one small mistake and it would snowball the entire way they played a hand out of control.
Yeah.
And it was literally referred to as fancy play syndrome.
Fancy play syndrome.
Yeah, where you're trying to do something that looks really spectacular and it's really flashy, and at the end of the day, you go back and look at the hand and you just go, "What the heck was I doing?"
Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah.
You just sometimes you just don't want to admit yourself that you're wrong, or you just want to tell a good story too, right? You just further down the rabbit hole, if whatnot, right?
I don't think that's what Hosty's doing though. I mean, just again, looking at the way that Hunter matchup lined up against Mage, it just felt like it was really awful. I mean, he's got Timberwolf in his hand. And he's got
again.
Yeah. So I mean, this may actually maybe like 2 copies of Timberwolf. I can't blame him for pitching back all those. 2 copies of Houndmaster in this deck.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah,
so what? I'm gonna make a bet. There's no Undertaker in this deck.
I think it's a pretty safe bet. I think it's very clearly very beast oriented. I'm curious what other beast he's running though.
But over on the other side, LifeCoach is running KT in the Paladin deck.
Pretty strong openings for both these players. We have Shielded Minibot for LifeCoach, and we have Mad Scientist and Haunted Creeper.
Yep.
For Steve.
So which 2 do you go?
I gotta believe it's Mad Scientist.
I think against the Paladin, you might have to anticipate the Shielded Minibot, right? But then if you play the Creeper, they can do Knife Juggler. So it's kind of like a guessing game, right?
Yeah, I think what is really being considered here is that the fact that he's got this Iron Beak Owl. And a deck like this, I would expect to run 2 Iron Beak Owls, especially the fact that Ancient of War is such a popular card right now. Sure. So when his opponent plays Shielded Minibot, he's going to feel comfortable using Iron Beak Owl to take it out, and then rely on the trap to give him the tempo he needs so that he can get a ton of value from the Houndmaster.
Okay, that's a pretty good assessment. Let's see if Hosty agrees with you. With LifeCoach, it's a pretty simple turn here, I believe. Well, you could silence the Mad Scientist.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of merit to doing that because how many other targets are you going to silence in this deck? But here's the thing, though. This is like not necessarily a bad thing for Hosty at this point because he's got Houndmaster in his hand. So he like kind of wants his minions to get silenced at some point along the way, so that way he can get through value with Houndmaster. And Cult Master is in here as well. So this is like very, very traditional style, like Hunter deck back when you saw Buzzard and Unleash the Hounds in here. He's trying to use Cult Master to kind of do the same thing, just to net him that extra value he needs so he can continue to apply pressure.
Yeah, I mean, Cult Master is a 4-mana Buzzard instead of a 5-mana Buzzard, so in that sense, it's better. So yeah, why not play the card? Now, Animal Companion, a Huffer would be terrible here, and
oh gosh, that's painful.
Oh, the piggy. Oh no.
Yeah,
that is pretty sad. That's gonna be a sad piggy.
LifeCoach doesn't have like a spectacular turn. He's got Piloted Shredder, but
the Piloted Shredder is pretty spectacular, I would say.
It is, but Hosty's got like a really good response here. So when he Houndmasters this Haunted Creeper, he'll take out the Shielded Minibot.
Of course.
This 2 Cult Masters. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
The Piloted Shredder is going to crash into the Haunted Creeper, and then he's going to be able to play Cult Master and trade his board down and fill his hand back up.
All right. And also the little Skittles, right? the ones that death rattle, they're gonna draw a lot of cards too. So it's pretty insane.
So much value available. Wow, I actually like. You can play Houndmaster again.
It's a good card.
Yeah.
It's one of those cards.
Yes,
where...
Undertaker's gone. I'm so happy.
Oh man, it's one of those cards where it's a 6/5 for 4 mana, and there's not a lot of cards that do that, right? The only other card really is Shredder, where you would assume that the thing that dies is around a 2/2, right? So like very few cards have this quality, and the added benefit of the Houndmaster is that you get a charge effect, right? It gets to happen instantly, where Shredder you need to die first. Sometimes you don't really want.
It's like an improved Defender of Argus in Hunter decks.
Sure. A super defensive Argus that only goes at 1 minion.
He's just got like a big, like the Superman S on his chest, but it's got a big A in it.
Actually, you know what? The Houndmaster pose does look like a Superman pose.
Is he wearing a cape?
No, he's right. You know, it's funny because when I first saw the Houndmaster picture, I thought he was being silenced. You know, in the silence picture where there's like a ring around his neck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, why are you silencing yourself?
Well, look at the 2 things over his shoulder. Are those wings or are those? What is that?
Those are Superman? Oh, Superman. He's Superman.
That's a cape. I'm just kidding. It's a cape.
Is there a spell? No, there's no spell.
There's no spell in hand.
Oh, this Cult Master is gonna draw. Wait. Oh, there's a Belcher. Okay.
That's still gonna draw a lot of cards though.
Oh, Savannah Highmane.
Wow, and there's Savannah Highmane. So now he's got the option to either silence and move forward from here, or he can try to utilize one of his Cult Masters right now.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh,
well, it really depends on if you're running 1 silence or 2, right? If you're running 1, you really want to save that for something bigger.
Yeah.
Cult Master gets a lot of value here already. I mean, it's perfectly fine.
He's just gonna have so many cards.
So many cards.
Does he have Hunter's Mark in here? Oh my gosh, I was just thinking about Hunter's Mark.
Oh, baby, that's a card. So, wait a minute. Do you...
He's got to be worried about something like Consecrate next turn.
Consecrate is the worrisome thing.
Yeah, so this actually may not even be a turn to use Hunter's Mark. It may just be better to just trade his Houndmaster in and continue to draw cards. He's actually got 2 copies of Hunter's Mark.
Oh, baby. Okay, do you sacrifice the Spider for an extra card draw? Why not, right? I mean, turning a 1 to card draw, it's pretty sweet.
Wow. And Snake Trap's in here too. Now here's a question: Is there ever any merit to Hunter's marking that Wild Pyromancer? Oh. I don't think there is.
No.
I think you just let the trade happen. But I mean, he's getting so far ahead on cards now, and he's got a second Cult Master that he can use after this too. So LifeCoach going to have a pretty good setup here with the Piloted Sky Golem. I mean, it's going to be pretty evenly matched with Savannah Highmane. But
yeah,
I got to give a nod to Hosty here, which is how many cards he has that are extra.
Oh, it's
Scavenging Hyena.
And Unleash the House, of course, comes right after Scavenging Hyena. This is actually a very interesting Hunter deck. I love this.
Wow. I mean, he's just got so many tools to apply pressure. If Hosty can manage to take a big initiative before Kel'Thuzad hits the board, this game is going to slip away from LifeCoach.
Yeah. Well, I mean, LifeCoach right now doesn't really have a turn 7 play. It's not really insane, and he does have the poor man's Savannah Highmane, which means it's only going to summon 1 minion when it does.
This is another example, by the way, you mentioned earlier that Piloted Sky Golem is better than Cairn.
Yeah.
Because Cairn actually wouldn't even be able to contest this Savannah Highmane right now.
Oh yeah, Cairn is actually not seen play in ages. I think the only way Cairn is going to be played is Sneasel Shredder. Oh, he's going to do a Quartermaster play here.
Yeah, he's just got to get stuff on the board.
Right.
Whoa!
Well, you do have KT in your hand, so I think it makes sense. But now, Hosty might have the most explosive turn ever.
Yeah, this is going to be really bad news for LifeCoach.
This is just insane. Shout out to Buzzard Unleashed, turn 5.
Turn 7 is not quite as good.
Oh! Thinking of the Unleashed, thinking of the Savannah, I mean, the Scavenging Hyena, oh my god. Why did they all...
Thinking about a lot of things here.
A lot of things. He did commit to the Cult Master already, though.
Yeah. I think at this point, like the Cult Master, I think is certainly coming down this turn, regardless of whether or not you're playing the Unleash the Hounds. But
Right.
is there ever a benefit that's bigger than the pickup of
Oh my god, just Hunter's
potentially
Mark.
4 cards? Yeah.
Okay, so what could be a bad 4-drop right now?
Pit Lord.
Oh, actually, I think a Taunter might be really bad. Oh, that's perfectly fine.
For the king.
For the king. So now what?
Now the question here is if you use your second Hunter's Mark or not.
Yes, you do, apparently. Goodbye.
Yeah, he's gonna
Master.
yeah, he's just gonna continue to choke the board out here too.
All right, here's another card draw. What do we see here? A piggy!
Stone Tusk Boar.
I do like my piggies. Oh, Consecrate.
Ooh, Consecration's a really good draw right now.
However, if LifeCoach does decide to kill the Savannah off, Hosty gets another card draw.
How else are you going to respond to this board, though? Like, Kel'Thuzad's being immediately threatened just by what's on the board.
Oh, KT sucks here.
Yeah.
You threw 2 turns into 1/1.
If when Kel'Thuzad's a bad play, that means you got to clear the board.
Okay. That makes sense.
That's what I think, yeah.
Okay. So I guess you do a trade and then use Consecrate, but look at the card disadvantage LifeCoach is facing right now. Oh, man. Here's another card for you, Hosty. So, I think the hyenas are gonna have a little shared feast, if anything.
LifeCoach he's got a pretty decent board though. He's got shielded mini bodies, got a token out.
Okay.
His opponent's got a lot of cards, but he doesn't have a lot of pressure.
No pressure.
And this is the first stage of recovery for LifeCoach.
Okay, what's
third scavenging high? Okay, what's going on? Okay, what's going on?
2 hyenas.
This is rigged.
Oh my god, this is just insanity.
This
Wow. Baby, that's a triple feast. Wait. Hosty's thinking. He's so...
No. Go third high main. Third high.
Wait, what
third
are you scared
hyena.
of? What are you scared of if you don't want to? Okay.
No, come on. Come on.
Sad. It could have been the 3-way. Oh man. But
Yeah.
God, what do you do with your LifeCoach here?
Pray.
For? Mercy?
Your opponent not having a way to efficiently trade Beast down. You know, it's actually pretty important that he played this Haunted Creeper here first because he wants a way to continue to buff these hyenas so they get out of control. So if he plays the third hyena instead, what ends up happening is he just gets to a board position where he has to use one of his hyenas if he wants his other hyenas to grow.
What? But then hyenas are ruthless, man. They just eat each other and just keep on growing. So like, I guess now that you say it, I guess I do agree with this play board. But oh man, how it's gotta take some amount of inner fire not to play all 3 scavenging hyenas there.
Oh gosh, he's got Snake Trap to back this up too.
So is Unleash the Hounds number 2 the best draw here?
Oh, certainly. I think at this point that Hosty's just gonna go for face pressure too.
Whoa!
There are 2 Timberwolves in this deck.
Yeah, just like you predicted too, right? Well,
I mean, he just drew them both. He drew one in his opening hand both times. It just, I feel like it's more likely he's got 2 of them in that scenario.
okay. So what do you do here? You can do so much here. Oh my god, these hyenas are just confusing the heck out of me.
Well, he may have to trade this board a little bit.
Yeah,
Like, he may
I
have to
think
trade
you
one of
still
his hyenas away.
Well, actually, you do have you could kill the Skittles into the shooter mini bot. I mean, the hyena just needs to poke once. But let's get one thing through. It's definitely not lethal.
Yeah,
So,
it's definitely not lethal.
but now if Hosty doesn't trade this board, KT might ruin his day.
Yeah, I mean that's something you got to be worried about.
He plays both the Timberwolves, does play the Snake Trap, but what the...
I think this is he's just going for face pressure. I think at this point.
Oh no!
And I think the Snake Trap is here.
Two
Wait a minute.
years?
Do the snakes die?
Oh!
Wow, he gets Millhouse.
And a storm!
Hang on a second. What I'm curious, will the snakes actually die because the board's full? Will they buff the hyenas, or will they just not get summoned?
Summoned.
Consecration number 2 gets picked up for LifeCoach on a board where the game looked like it might have been slipping away.
Oh.
He can clear this entire board right now.
He can clear this entire board. Life Coach looks like Hosty. But oh my god, that's a huge draw.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god. If this was a freezing, this would have been so different. Goodbye. Board.
Wow.
And the Millhouse Manastorm also. That was pretty.
You could just big game hunter the scavenging hunting after the consecrate too.
Oh yeah. Wow, what a turnaround. Oh no.
Yeah, you faced the
Wait.
mighty Millhouse Manastorm indeed.
Oh no, I want to see the Hosty face again. Oh, we don't get to see the Hosty face? Damn.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's so
16-7.
brutal. What a big turnaround for LifeCoach. I mean, it looked like this game was like almost unwinnable for him at some point.
Yeah, now it looks unwinnable for Hosty. Tundra Rhino.
8, 9, 10. He's only facing 11 damage though, so he does have like a turn or two to try to put some damage together.
Mm-hmm.
Like actually, kill command could be lethal here.
Kill command is lethal actually if he charges this in hero powers right now.
Yep.
And I mean, kill command is like a staple in every 100 deck, anyways. But yeah, guys, with this setup, it's really cool because even if webcams kind of fail, we still have the game. But we will focus on getting the webcams back as soon as possible. But yeah, I think that's the play. You're definitely correct.
I think so. I mean, you have to get the damage in now before he plays the taunt. Like he's got Sludge Belcher, you know he's got Tyrion. He may have something like Defender of Argus in here.
Just that the prey doesn't draw a heal, right?
Yeah, you got to get the 2 damage in. And actually, I don't think you're even upset if your opponent chooses to go ahead and attack your minion here, just because it will buy you a little bit of extra time to try to find a kill command.
Mm-hmm. Oh wait, and you cannot dish kill command. There's no how to deck without kill command. I can't imagine.
I mean, I can't imagine. It's like one of the best spells in the deck.
All right. But then you never know, right? I mean, Hyped ran a version of Mage without Fireball, and we always thought that was a core card.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly possible. We've seen a lot of unique choices here from Hosty, so it's definitely not completely out of the range of possibility.
All right, well here, LifeCoach does not have lethal right now, so obviously you would need to trade. Is he thinking about Unleash the Hounds being a possible win as well?
Yeah, I mean, that's another good one to think about, is if he keeps too many minions on the board, Unleash the Hounds is another lethal. And he's so far into his deck at this point that's not a huge impossibility.
Right, but there's only one left, so I guess if you are playing Unleash the Hounds, then Millhouse kills the Rhino, you summon the 1/1, and you kill the 1/1, and then you just go face, and that's enough damage. You don't want to give your opponent more outs. Then
yeah, I don't think he has much of a way to actually play.
Oh, actually, if Hosty's playing a second copy of Rhino, that's also lethal.
You know, the other thing here, I think that's what Hosty was thinking about too, is whether or not he should jam the owl in there. But kill command, it has to be an out if he's doing it that way. So here's something else that LifeCoach could do, is he could actually not play Kel'Thuzad, and he could just play the Wild Pyromancer here, and that sets up lethal, and it actually plays around Unleash the Hounds too.
Nope. KT
He's gonna go for Kel'Thuzad though.
Yep. Then you might as well take the Druid as well.
Yeah.
All right. This is
Hosty.
Hosty's last card.
He's down to his last draw.
Oh.
It's not going to be enough, and LifeCoach is going to take a 2-1 lead in this series, where despite the incredible amount of card advantage that Hosty was able to put together, it was dismantled by board clear. Wow, what a game that was. I mean,
great. Oh my.
There was so many crazy cards in Hosty's deck, and really what ended up being like the killer point was when he got to a position where he just didn't draw that many big scaling cards, and he had to just commit so much to the board, and then LifeCoach drew the consecration.
Yeah.
And just crushed everything.
And there was a second consecrator, right? The first one was used to clear the Savant domain. Then wow, that was super important for LifeCoach to draw. And at the end, Hosty didn't have as good a LifeCoach draw as LifeCoach did. So now he's down to his last deck, which is going to be, if I remember correctly, I don't. So let's go to the screen.
Mage.
Yeah.
Let's go to the screen.
All right. No, we don't.
It's like magic.
All right. Oh, there's the magic. All right. So yeah, there you go. Mage is the last pick from Hosty. We are having some cam issues, but hey, sometimes it happens. We're still having the games with no problem though, so that's a plus. The Mage has to get through not only the Paladin, but the Druid for Hosty to achieve a win from this series.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what kind of mage this was. Again, Hosty's, he really tends to lean towards strong mid-range decks, in my experience. So this would just not at all surprise me for this to be a mech mage. But sometimes you got to throw curveballs in there, and you have to mix things up a bit. And he's done that with Rogue. I'm curious now if he's ever doing this with Mage. Like, is he throwing in Fatigue Mage or Freeze Mage into these lineups to make sure that he does have that extra trick up his sleeve?
Right. You know what the biggest curveball card is for Mage? Unstable Portal. I played Unstable Portal today on stream in over 2 games of 4 Unstable Portals. I got a legendary every single time. Yeah.
That's a nice
every single time.
That's a nice meme, Amaz.
What? Wait, what?
It's a nice meme.
No, seriously. I was like, I got Trogzor and I got not Trogzor and I got Cenarius. So I just went turn 4, Trogzor, turn 5 Lotheb, turn 6 Cenarius, turn 7 Dr. Broom, and
easy game.
I won the game actually. Yeah, it was really close.
That's an easy one. No, it sounds like it was really close.
Yeah, it was actually really close. Okay, like believe me. Okay, it was. But I think Unstable Portal is one of those cards where your opponent just can't play around it, and it does also reward players who actually know all the cards, like how to play them. For example, like sometimes you get something like a really weird card that you don't know when to play it. So I think a good player gets rewarded by it, but I don't think it's Mech Mage here, unfortunately.
Yeah, this is definitely Freeze Mage. No. And this is again just sort of right up that alley of just players trying to find every single edge that they can get by throwing these curveballs in. But he has got a monster of a hand to fight through first. LifeCoach has 2 copies of Muster for Battle in his hand.
Oh god.
And that's gonna be a lot of early pressure that he's gonna have to fight through.
That is actually insane. It's actually a if you evaluate the Muster, right? That's just itself. It's like a 3/3. You also get a Light's Justice. That's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of damage. Just 3/1/1s would have been good enough. And then you just throw in there that you get the 1/4 weapon. Like Light's Justice is a terrible card.
Yep.
And so is Goldshire Footman. But when you just tack them onto cards that are already good, they become even better.
That's right. And of course you also have the threat of quartermastering any time and just triple that. It's even more insane.
Yeah, this has got to be a turn 2 Muster for Battle here. This is just, how much better of a turn could you ask for out of that card?
Mm-hmm. Oh,
I guess you could ask for 2 Knife Jugglers in play. Wow, he's going to choose to go with Shielded Minibot instead.
Interesting. Well, does he want to curve out into something like Belcher or something like a Quartermaster if he draws it, maybe?
Wow, that's really... This is something that LifeCoach does a lot, too. He really favors... getting big, like really big turns out of his coin instead of in foregoing turns that are otherwise like of minor advantages.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's gonna get rewarded by it. See,
yeah.
The Minibot stays alive. The Muster does end up killing the Loot Hoarder anyways.
Are you surprised that Hosty didn't choose to kill the Shielded Minibot there?
I was also surprised, but at the same time, he is holding on 2 Blizzards. So it feels like that. Yeah, I can deal with the board. Yeah,
just the damage isn't that important from it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, why not? And of course here he just paints, just basically save himself alive. Like he knows he has board clear, but he also doesn't want to give the tell that the opponent has a board clear. And 1 damage on the opponent's face isn't really that much to deal with. It's not that.
Yeah, the one damage is very inconsequential.
Over at LifeCoach's hand, now he can actually coin out a Belcher if he so chooses. But hey, look at that. He just drew the Sky Golem, which means that if he decides to forego the coin using this turn, he can coin a KT.
Yeah, gosh, it's so tough.
So it's just like a stalling thing. Like, when are you going to pull the trigger? Coin is the trigger, right?
Yeah.
When are you going to do it?
It's tough to say. There's so many different ways to use the coin, and like Kripparrian, for instance, Kripparrian is so often holding on to the coin because he's so focused on getting a lot of value out of what he plays and what he goes forward with. Like when I see like turn 9 coin in people's hands, it's just the Kripparrian coin. They always have it 56 turns into the game somehow.
I see. Okay, so that's the label you use. Okay, it's interesting. I've never heard that before.
LifeCoach Wow. I mean, I'm so surprised the shielded minibot had lived and that he didn't actually muster for battle. It was
Yeah,
just-
I mean, it's coming to bite Hosty, I guess. I mean, look at that. It's 2 damage every turn. And what Freeze Mage needs to do is like do a turn. And funny enough, Life Coach did get rewarded by the mini bot play because now he has a coin belcher, right? In the other
Yeah.
way, he would still have, did hero power this turn.
Hallowed Peacekeeper is going to help him again continue to scale into pressure here. This card feels like it's just like its best use in this matchup is usually just a 3/3,
Right.
just to kind of keep the ball rolling. Like I don't feel like I want to hang on to Aldor for something like
you're not gonna
to Alexstrasza.
That's just kind of weird.
Yeah, you make it 1 power and then run all your guys into it.
Oh wow, and kill your guy so KT works. Okay.
That play sounds solid.
Uh-huh. All right, so here Life Coach is gonna put on more pressure. 16 health from Hosty. He's running out of stuff. Running out of health, I guess. He needs to pretty much draw his win conditions soon. He can stall with Blizzard or whatnot, but some residual damage is coming from the weapon anyways.
Yep. I think Life Coach is really thinking about that too. Like if he chooses to not play this Eldor Peacekeeper or another muster for battle, Blizzard is like in the forefront of his mind. So he's just gonna kind of force his opponent to have something like that. In Hosty, for his sake, he does. He has 2 copies of Blizzard and he's got a Flame Strike. So he's taken a lot of damage at this point, but he's used his life total as a resource very well so far. But the other thing to consider is that Life Coach's board is full right now. So does he even want to Blizzard? Like is Frost Nova going to be a better opportunity here for him?
Oh, that's a very interesting consideration. But Frost Nova is cheap. It's pretty cheap. You can weave it in with other spells.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I'm Life Coach, I definitely want to drop the Sky Caller next turn. So this Blizzard. Yeah, it's just more the expensive spell.
Yeah.
Thematic.
I would tend to favor Blizzard here as well, but there is a lot of merits to consider in keeping your opponent's board full.
All right.
While you just freeze them 4 turns in a row.
Oh, Lay on Hands is pretty good and at the same time pretty bad. I mean, you do want to heal yourself, but you don't want to heal yourself with Lay on Hands, right? You want to pop a block and Lay on Hands. So sometimes you might not be able to do it when there's an Alexstrasza on the board.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not seeing a better Flame Strike turn, I don't think.
No. Against the Paladin? No.
Maybe post Quartermaster.
Post Quartermaster, yeah, but
he's seen 2 muster already. Yeah,
exactly. Oh wow, he's actually gonna go for the Arcane Intellect here. Does pick up Doomsayer, which is pretty key.
Yeah, Doomsayer is definitely an important one right now.
All right, there's the freeze, and over at Life Coach's side, yeah.
Yeah, this turn's a little bit lacking.
Too exciting.
This is like just one of the consequences you pay when you play a deck that's so focused on just having powerful mid-range effects is against decks that are going to, for the most part, ignore what you're doing and just try to stall to get to their endgame strategy. This is the exact kind of position that Hosty wants to be in. He's low on life, but he's sitting behind an ice block. There's not a lot of bursts coming from Life Coach. I think that this is still really anyone's game. It's just a matter of whether or not Hosty can put together the pieces and finish his game. He needs to find something like Alexstrasza, or he needs to get Archmage on the board on a clean turn.
Right. Here's a Blizzard that's coming down again to further stall the turn. You could also like Ice Barrier and Frost Nova a Doomsayer. How'd you like?
Yeah, I like that one a lot. And then following up with Blizzard or Flame Strike.
Yeah. But at the same time, Blizzard is the more expensive card. You want to use it ASAP, in my opinion. But you do have the Doomsayer now, and that's a pretty sweet combo.
Yeah, without the Doomsayer, I don't think this would be much of a consideration. I think that Blizzard would be 100% the better play.
What to do?
And once again, also a pretty good Flame Strike turn. But, hold on.
Yeah, the more I think about it, I really like Ice Barrier, Frost Nova, and Doomsayer.
Yeah.
It uses all your mana very efficiently. You're getting max value out of your Doomsayer when it actually expires.
And the Ice Barrier is pretty much better played in like the mid game, I guess. Like
Yeah.
later it goes, the less effective Ice Barrier.
Yeah, you want the Ice Barrier to get out simply so it doesn't get stuck in your hand.
All right. So Hosty does decide to go with our play, I guess, or maybe he just thinks better that this is just a bit better. And Life Coach, well, he could remove this,
Ooh, that's an important draw right now.
Very important. But yeah, you could remove this Doomsayer simply by using Consecrate and Equality and Consecrate. Does kind of nuke his board a little bit, but at the same time, it doesn't really matter, right? Freeze mages either clear your board or they don't.
Yeah, this is another really tough turn. It's like you can Equality Consecrate, but again, you're opening yourself so wide to like anything. Like Kona Cold has to be in your mind at some point.
Cone of Code is one of the cards that would punish you if you do Equality Consecrate. But so far we haven't seen that from Hosty, and we haven't seen that from Forsen's deck either, right?
Yeah, Kona Cold looked like it was kind of trimmed out. I think it's more of a Fatigue Mage style card. Yeah, so he's gonna go with the Consecrate. I'm sorry. Oh, he just uses Slice Justice.
Oh.
He's not frozen.
Oh yeah, there's a one. Yeah. Okay.
I just was like, oh, he's frozen.
And the low Feb is going to be so much pain here.
Wow, that's a really strong turn.
Oh man.
Hosty has no response to this, by the way.
Nope.
So
low Feb is pretty good, and there are no 4-drops that actually backfire.
Except for the well, backfire for who?
Backfire for the player control. Backfire
that one is
oh
yeah, that one's potentially really good.
Oh god.
Exactly, because he has to kill that one before he can fireball Lotheb now.
Yeah, we spell stopper. Seeing some play. Alright. Ice block. Could it be proc this turn?
There's 19 points of damage available.
Don't think that's nice. Don't think that's enough.
Yeah, it's not. It's because he's got the ice barrier down. So Hosty is effectively sitting at 22 right now.
Right. Does need to find another way to deal more damage. I mean, Frostbolt would be a good start. Ice block would also be good, but
his first consideration, he's got to get the board stabilized.
That's true. That's true. But then if the board isn't going to be stabilized, at least you have the Super Thanos YOLO attack. You know, with Thanos, maximum damage a mage could do is actually 21. With like the super extended combo.
Yeah, the Frostbolt, Ice Lance.
Yeah. Super extended. Oh, the Ice Block comes out. Okay, well, that's actually a very key card, I would say. KT just come down here.
I gotta agree with KT here.
Wait, did the Belcher die? Wait.
Yeah.
The Belcher died, right?
Yes.
Oh, but there's no more Frost Novas from Hosty, so he can't like prevent LifeCoach from playing.
Yeah. I think he's just gonna have to Ice Lance his KT here to prevent 6 damage.
Oh.
I mean, it looks like one of his straightaway plays is just Blood Mage, Flame Strike, Ice Lance, and then obviously Blizzard is another consideration.
Not if he just Frostbolt. Oh.
Well, that could definitely change things.
Whoa. So right now, Hosty could go. Interesting.
Well, hang on. He's sitting behind an Ice Block too. So let me ask you this: is there a merit to playing Archmage and then burning your opponent for 7, and then trying to rely on the Ice Block that you have also backed up from that to be able to just push through damage?
Funny enough, I actually do not like that play because Ice Block costs 3 and Fireballs cost 4. So you can't actually do a pair of Fireballs and Ice Block. So I actually think maybe pushing more damage this turn and hoping you draw for more burn next turn is a bit better.
Oh my gosh. Well, he can also Pyroblast. And then he's got 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. He's got 16 damage after that. So if he Pyroblasts here, his opponent would have to have a True Silver or a Lay on Hands to be able to sustain through that. And I think that's what he's counting right now.
Oh, I think Pyroblast is also a fine play, to be honest. Yeah. I like that. Now, if he Blizzards here, for example, the 2/1 and the 1/1 and the ooze, they actually come back to life and they can attack, which is pretty weird. So KT kind of unfreezes the minions. Wait. Oh, he's killing the KT?
Yeah. I was like, this pretty much clears the board down.
Oh.
This was the play that I saw immediately.
Oh, okay.
But I certainly think there was. I'm glad he counted. He obviously was counting Pyroblasting his opponent and then forcing out. If his opponent didn't have a heal, he just had lethal next turn.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this is just a safer play. I think you're going to be able to stabilize more often through this kind of board position.
But then it's so weird. I mean, the thing is, like, Ice Lance does push for so much burst now, right? Now, Hosty, I think he might even need Alexstrasza to win this game.
Well, he's got the Archmage too, so if the Archmage goes unchecked for a turn or two, he can just pick up a bunch of fireballs.
Mm-hmm. Well, but once again, the main problem I have with Archmage, especially with a board like this, is that you need him to attack the face to get some sort of value, right? Once again, a pair of fireballs and Ice Block is 11 mana, and that's not going to work. I think that's the only thing you need to worry about when you're playing Freeze Mage.
Wow. That's
pretty desperate.
That's really interesting to me.
Uh-huh. I mean, let's see. Oh, the sword attacks here. Okay.
Yeah, I think he's got to just start getting in there.
So a Flame Strike actually doesn't. Oh.
That is that's a very important draw right now.
Wow.
Hosty's down to just, I mean, he's got 5 health left. This Ice Barrier is over doubling his life total.
Doubling. You do like using that word, doubling.
It's doubling season.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Flame Strike and Ice Barrier seems to be insane here. I mean, it's Paladin. How else can they burst you aside from Quartermaster? If you kill the dudes, they can't really burst you.
Yeah. Yeah, there's also... there is some merit to using Doomsayer after you Flame Strike here, because there's not enough damage immediately there to kill it. And if the Ice Block gets popped, you can sit behind the other Ice Block and Ice Barrier to keep yourself afloat.
But then I don't really like... I mean, does it ever come across Freeze Mage's mind to just throw away an Ice Block like that? I don't think so. Yeah, I think this is perfectly fine.
This is definitely a safer play.
Yeah. And now Archmage might even come next turn.
Just Archmage Frostbolt and try to start grinding him out.
Yeah, but then the thing is, like, if you actually analyze Hosty's hand right now, I don't think Archmage is going to do anything. Right?
I think it's just going to soak up 7 damage is what it's going to do and give him a couple copies of Fireball.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, it seems decent.
Well, I guess soaking up the damage is quite important, but then at the same time, it's like the extra Fireballs, I don't think you're going to be able to use this game. I might be wrong, but we'll see. LifeCoach, on the other hand, yeah, that's the problem. Like, I mean, you would love to run Holy Wrath right now.
Just Holy Wrath and Molten Giant into his face.
Yeah, the Holy Wrath any 5-drop really, and just want to get you just don't want the Ice Barrier to proc like that. So yeah. Even Avenging Wrath would have been insane here. All right, LifeCoach is gonna do what he heal. But LifeCoach does have to lay on hands, so that is pretty interesting. He's gonna choose to attack, which is quite interesting because Alexstrasza is always a thing. And
I think he's just looking to pressure at this point. I think he's considering, what if he draws his second True Silver Champion?
Oh, that's true. That's true. So now LifeCoach is certainly lethal once again, and
oh jeez.
Well,
jeez.
Well, I kind of called it, but kind of didn't call it. You get what I mean? So,
wow.
Yeah. Wow.
Now, here's the question. Is there ever merit to healing yourself with this?
Are you kidding me? You need to kill your opponent. This is not a fatigue mage. You just go in there, 15 damage for 9 mana. Ooh. Love life.
And you get an 8/8 out of the deal.
Yeah, you get an 8/8. But now, I mean, the 8/8 is going to get Aldored, but still. If LifeCoach decides to Aldor, he can't lay on hands. But, oh, what is this? What? No. There is no way you don't play a 15 attack creature. No.
I don't know. Actually, I don't mind this that much because at this point, what Hosty's thinking about when he makes a play like this is he's taking into consideration, what chances he have to actually get his Ice Block popped this turn. If the Ice Block doesn't get popped this turn, he can just quite literally use Fireballs to grind his opponent out of cards. Like, you just run him out of stuff and then just beat him up.
I don't really like that win condition that much, though. I think the most straightforward play is a bit...
And then, mind you, he also, once he's grinded his opponent out, because now LifeCoach is forced into this really aggressive path where he has to try to kill Hosty. So if he manages to clear out all this stuff by grinding him out with Fireballs, he can Alexstrasza himself and just recover, and he'll have had so much value gotten out of the Archmage and the extra Fireballs at this point that the Alexstrasza is going to be enough to just continue to start picking up the pieces and carrying the game.
Well, I'm definitely not really familiar with that line of play. But we'll see. We'll see. Hosty might actually be thinking the same way you are thinking, and just go that path instead. The grinder. Oh, what? Oh, okay, that's fine. I mean, oh, never mind. I thought the Archmage still had fire attack. I was like, what? So. How's
I think that was the
situation now?
Yeah, I think that was the one thing Hosty wasn't accounting for was Aldor Peacekeeper and Run, and
how's
Aldor
fighting
Peacekeeper and
situation?
Quartermaster.
Oh man, yeah.
So yeah, now at this point you got a YOLO.
And now we're gonna see a beautiful lay on hands from LifeCoach. It's gonna heal for 8 health, and well,
22 actually. He goes to 23 after this, which actually still isn't enough to win the game through it, unless he can find he has to pop this ice block this turn, which he can do, and he's got to kill this Alexstrasza. So he's gonna lay on hands after this, and then Hosty's gonna be forced to play the second ice block, and that's gonna put him out of the mana range of being able to throw 2 fireballs at his opponent's face and pyroblast him. Because he's got 23 damage, but he doesn't have the mana to actually utilize all 23 damage.
That's right. That's one of the problems that I predicted that would happen, right? You can't pair of fireballs and ice block. You just can't do that. So it might be a missed opportunity that Hosty did not play the Alexstrasza last turn. Because like you can't heal yourself and deal with Alexstrasza. That is the key point in this matchup, right? Because killing Alexstrasza requires 3 mana. Either Aldor or PGH, right? And
or in this instance, just having an overdeveloped board position.
Right. Well, that's kind of how it's gonna go. I think we already burned through 2 Frostbolts because, you know, the Harrison did soak up the second one, I believe. So, doesn't seem like a winning position from here.
Alright, we've got to play Ice Block, we know that.
Yeah. And, well, one of the situations where you actually want Sorcerer's Apprentice, you know? If you have Sorcerer's Apprentice, suddenly you could play all 3. Yeah.
Yeah, if he had Sorcerer's Apprentice, he actually might win this game.
If the Acolyte was Sorcerer's Apprentice, you know?
So he'd have been Sorcerer's 2, 1, 2, 3. He still would have been 1 mana off from being able to ping.
Oh, yeah, you can't ping, huh? Oh, that's a shame.
Most he's out of freeze effects too, if I recall correctly.
Right. Well, who? Yeah.
And even if he had a freeze, there's still an Ironbeak Owl to unfreeze the minion. So Ice Block's gonna get popped, and LifeCoach is primed to take this series 3-1.
Yep. I can't see what card Hosty can draw to get out of this. I mean, Deathwing? No, not even that. Not even that. Just here.
You can draw a 3rd Ice Block.
Oh, yeah, actually another Frostbolt here too. But no. He's gonna ping his own Acolyte. Yeah. Finally, he has no more Ice Blocks or Ice Barriers. And nope. That's not gonna work.
Yep, I gotta agree with you. And not playing that Alexstrasza, I think, was the missed opportunity that he needed to win this game. It's just, you know, he needed literally like 1 extra mana.
That's right.
To be able to win this game. I mean, he had 21 points of mana that he needed to expend, and you know, you only have 10 a turn.
Sometimes the Archmage burnout is like, it's interesting. I've never come across that win condition before because the point of Freeze Mage is to burn your opponent over all the Ice Block turns, right? You set up Alexstrasza, they pop your Ice Block, you burn them and Ice Block, and then they respawn, and then you Pyroblast to finish, right? That's pretty much the Freeze Mage mentality. So unfortunately for Hosty, he's going to drop to the losers bracket where he's going to play Forsen. And fortunately for LifeCoach, he's going to advance to the winners where he's going to play Deathlord. And Deathlord is looking really strong right now. So we're going to be able to update brackets after soon. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Look at this beautiful brackets. Thanks, production. And so we can see our next match is going to be Deathlord and LifeCoach. We're going to see who is going to advance out of the winners bracket and going to enjoy the rest of today's matches on a nice couch. And then afterwards, we're going to see we're going to play Force and Hosty, and then of course the final match where we're going to see who actually advances out of the groups in the losers bracket. So don't go anywhere, guys. We're gonna have a short commercial by G2A. Shout out to them for making this all possible. And when we come back from the 5-minute break,